Okay, so this is just a quick video. I had a quick request here just to show how the floor flanges are connecting to the bulkhead on this car. This is a 57 TR3. It's one of the ones with a small mouth. So what I thought I'd do is I'm going to try and show you. So just there's a front wheel and there's the brake lines and things, and there's the suspension, so you know where we are. Here is the front bulkhead. Sorry, I've got an inspection lamp here, so it might get a bit bright in places. You can see I've not cleaned this up yet, obviously. You can see there's no flange on the outside of this. The black line that you can probably make out, there's the chassis rail. The black line is where I welded it on the inside, and I'm thinking that's just burnt dirt on the outside. Underneath, if I can just get rigged up here, get the inspection light underneath. Whoa, okay, right, let me switch the camera around. So I'm using the front camera. Okay, let me try now. Okay, so hopefully what you can see there is, I'm awful close, that is the flange. Lamps away. There's the chassis rail. This is upside down, obviously. There's the flange at the bottom of the bulkhead, and the black piece is obviously the new floor. So the flange bends under there, the flange bends under the floor but stays always connected to the bulkhead. On the sill, somewhat similar. I'm sure this is all out of focus and terrible. That there is the inner sill. The black's the floor. There's the front bulkhead. I replaced that metal, so that's what it looks like on the bottom. On the inside, on the inside, got under my brace and everything. The very corner where it's not welded, you can see it's bent up. I'm trying getting some glare off the lamp here. You can see it's bent up. You can pick up some pretty sketchy weld in there, and you can see it's bent up. I don't know, an inch and a half maybe, something like that, and connecting to the bulkhead. The floor that came out was not cut, but completed, ended around here. It didn't have this flange on it. I made the assumption that that flange is there for a reason. The reason I made that assumption was in this corner, which hopefully you can see, this is where the inner thing with the radio speaker hole in it, this is awful close up, inner footwell on the right hand side of the passenger's footwell. That angle there meets the bulkhead quite nicely in there, and this protruded for an extra inch or so. This corner is probably the easiest place to see it. So what I did was I bent that up. I don't know if that's right or wrong. What I'm assuming happened on the originals is spot welds through there to that little flange, through here. When I pulled the old floor out, it was so rotten down in this footwell, it came off. In fact, I do know it was spot welded on there. This flange wasn't there. So what I decided to do, maybe right, maybe wrong, originally was plug weld it onto the bulkhead, but then I decided to seam weld it. And what I think I'm going to do, what my plan is at the moment, is when I flip this shell over to POR15, the underside, is then to seam weld the flange on the bottom that you just saw to the floor to make it absolutely rock solid. I don't think it's originally correct, but it feels to me like almost the best way to do it. It would be a pain in the ass to get out, but by the time this floor rots through 20 years or whatever, I'm sure those flanges will all need replaced anyway. This here is the hole. This is the only bit, this front body mount, this is the only bit that doesn't quite line up with my chassis fixings. What I've got, I don't know if you can see this or not, that hole there is set by just a few mil. I'm not quite sure what that is in inches. I'm not sure, a quarter of an inch maybe. The hole is here, oh sorry, the hole is here for the mount, so it almost needs to just move, oh maybe 10 mil, I don't know, inboard, outboard, sorry. The cage nuts are on it. These cage nuts came on it, and these line up really quite well with my gearbox tunnel. You can see they're on it, oh, gold. They're on it all the way down. The rear mountings, the floor mountings, these lined up okay. The big screw's off just a little bit, so I made a minor adjustment. It literally was just off a tiny little bit, so I'm happy enough with that. As I say, it's only really that forward body mounting that hasn't worked. These guys, sorry, juggling hands here. These guys lined up quite nicely, and this floor really fitted pretty well. As I say, apart from that mounting, I had no issues. I might have made the assumption that the flange needs bent over up there. Maybe it gets cut off, I'm not 100% sure, but for me I think that works. Now I'm going to seam weld on the top, seam weld along the bottom, and I don't know, could be right, could be wrong, I'm not sure to be honest. The bulkhead felt really solid. I did speak to my dad's got a TR2, it's a 55 I think, it's not a super early one. It's a 55, and he did the floors a few years ago now, but he certainly had the flanges on there, so they were on at 55, they're on at 57. I'm pretty sure the 59 should have them, if a 60 should have them, but you know, hand-built cars, who knows. And just for anyone that's interested in things other than the floor, it's still absolutely hammering it down in true Oregon fashion. It's about 48 hours now, it's been nothing but raining for. Anyway, that's what I did with the floor. As I say, I plug welded, whoa, really can't see very well here, plug welded along the sill, but that bulkhead, seam weld, there's a flange connected to the bulkhead there, a flange connected to the footwell right hand side, whatever it's called, footwell, you know what I mean, this bit over here, there's a flange in the bottom of that which I replaced, and as I say, the plan is seam weld along the top, plug weld's probably more authentic, flip it over, and then I'm going to seam weld along the flanges on the underside as well, just to make sure it's in there tight as can be. Oh God, fingers and hands all over the place. If that helps, awesome. If not, I'll be more than happy to show anything else I've done in here. I'm going to take off just now. I've got to sweep out the garage floor because I'm hoping to get painting at some point in time over the next week or so. Hope that helps. As I say, if it doesn't, let me know, and cheers just now.